Hello everybody and welcome. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Veronica and I'm one of the artist educators on the Art Stars Saturday School programme at Rosetta Arts Centre. Welcome and thank you for joining me today. Today it's going to be a really fun session. We're going to learn a little bit about negative space, artworks and positive and negative space and how we can utilise it in our artwork. So I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about that, and then you're going to work with me step by step to create a picture, and then afterwards you can go and create something of your own, inspired from what we've learned today. What you're going to need is some watercolour paints, a jar or two of some clean water. You can just change it when it gets dirty, and some different size paint brushes. A thick one's good for painting in the background, so we're going to start with that. And just some paper. I've got some thick watercolour paper here, so anything like that. And a pencil as well would be good. Those are the main things that you'll need. So we're going to look at negative and positive space today. So I've just got my sketchbook here. This is a picture. This is of a just an ink drawing of a folklore toy chicken. It could be any image. What I want to show you is basically the negative space is the space around a picture, in between and around, that doesn't necessarily have a background on or much colour. It's where the eye goes to last. So when you, say for example, if you look at this drawing of mine, your eyes should go straight to the chicken and the pattern, not to the background, not to the backdrop. So that's the negative space, and the positive space is the place where the eye goes to first. So the place where the picture is, or the artwork. So we're going to create some negative space paintings today. I've got some examples of my personal work here to show you. These are more Russian folklore toys. These are, like I say, part of my practice. I enjoy drawing these little characters and toys, but you could be drawing anything. So what I've done here is the negative space would be the space outside of the image, and I've started by painting that, and then leaving the pictures white. And I've actually painted into them, so these are quite busy. Our eyes go there as well, but I've still used quite a bright colour for the background. So like I say, the negative space is still a big part of the picture. And same here. Little people. There we go. So, like I say, I start from the outside, from the corner of my page with my watercolours, and then I work my way in and leave some shapes. Normally with positive and negative space images, you'll see that the background is normally a black, or if not a very dark or a bright colour, so that the eye is taken straight there, and then the image inside is just completely white. It's a silhouette. I think it's good, more visually interesting and more exciting too. It has a little bit of detail on. So what we'll do today, we'll start with painting the background and leave a silhouette, and we'll do a little bit of detail on it, but we won't make it too detailed. So like I say, the eye is drawn to the paint in the background first. With colours, I recommend going with a black or a red, or a dark green or a purple. Stay away from the pinks and the yellows, because these are quite light colours and your eyes won't go there first. They'll just blend into the background. So I'm going to take a paintbrush, quite a thick one, and I'm going to get it nice and wet. And I'm going to do a picture. Just thinking what I can do. I think I'll do a bird. And if you guys want to follow me step by step to do the bird, just to start, do what I do, and then afterwards you can, like I say, take it on and create your own work afterwards. So my brush is nice and wet. I think for the background colour I'm going to go with a nice red here. So I'm just going to use my red like I say, black works well, or green, just none of the lighter colours because they don't show so well. And I'm actually starting at the corner of my page. So I'm painting the space first. I'm making this space that would otherwise be white, that the eyes would go to last rather, surrounding the image. We're going to make this very prominent and very clear. Just painting the background. If you can try and avoid painting an outline, and just painting inwards like I am here, that's really great. So we really want to practice our letting go a little bit. Creativity. So I'm going to do a bird. So I'm just doing a curved line across. I'm painting down as I go, and I'm just leaving that area in white. If you find that really difficult to do and you just want to paint it first, that's fine. Like I say, it is good to do it this way, where you paint in the background first, because like I say, it frees up your control as you go. And I'm going to go over the paint with watercolours. They come out very light the first time, so we can add the more washes of colour we add, the darker or clearer the colours become. And like I said, we want the eyes to be taken to the paint first. There we go. So this is the body of my bird I'm doing. And I want to give my bird a head. Like I say, painting the background in as I go. It's really important when you're using watercolours, keep on putting your brush back in the water as you go. Because sometimes people work with the paint and their brush is quite dry. But watercolours are supposed to be nice and smooth to work with, and we can, like I say, build up the layers of colour. There we go, it's my bird. I'm going to give it a beak. What I do a lot of the time with my own paintings is I start by painting the background with a black or a dark colour, and I'm not necessarily copying anything. I don't have anything in mind. I just start painting, and then I leave some quite random shapes like ovals or triangles, and then afterwards I come back to the white shapes that I've left and I turn them into people or buildings. So like I say, it's nice in that sense. You can work quite spontaneously. And the idea here is that we're, like I say, the area that our eye normally misses, we're starting with this. This is going to be a big part of our picture. I'm just going to get that all covered. And you can see I've got my shape of my bird here. So I'm going to put it this way up actually. Like I say, with the first wash of colour with the watercolours, it's very, very light, so it's good to build that up. As it dries, we can put more and more layers on so that it becomes clearer. Like I say, things like pinks and yellows aren't really as prominent. Keep on wetting your brush. And try and work in one direction. Like I say, when you're shading it with pencil, do the same with your paints. Just go one way, so I'm going vertically across. Try not to go horizontally and vertically as well, because we can see the brush strokes. It's quite nice if we see them all going in one direction. It looks nice and smooth. There we go, and I think I'll come back to the background. Like I say, the area that would have been negative space a bit later, and add another layer of paint. So there we go. We've got the, like I say, we've got the main image there. So in fact, the silhouette, which would normally be the picture or the painting of an animal or person or whatever it is now the negative space. It's just a white space, and the background area that would normally be more muted is the turned into the positive space, because our eye's going to go there because of the colour. Like I say, if you look on the internet at pictures, they're normally very simple. Like you have a silhouette of a head in white with a black background, and there's not that much detail on them. But I thought it would be a bit more interesting if we add a bit of detail to our pictures, and then if we reverse it and do another picture afterwards, maybe of the same thing, where we change the space, so the pattern's in the background, then just the block colour, like the red I've done here, will be on the bird. So I'm just going to fill this up with some pattern. You can copy me, or you can make up your own pattern as you go. So I'm going to give it an eye. I've just done a U, and I'm just doing some little lines for eyelashes. And like I say, this is a personal preference. This is something that I like to do with this picture, which is a style that I work with. I do a lot of pictures of Russian toys and ethnic toys from different countries, so I'm going to make this very detailed in that style. You can, like I say, you can copy me, or you can do your own pattern. It's absolutely fine. Because I do recommend doing one at the same time as me, like this. So starting off with the bird, as this is quite a simple shape, and then afterwards hopefully there will be time for you to go and choose some of your own objects to create a positive and negative space picture with. There we go, just on some dots. I think I'm going to use a slightly thinner brush for some of the details. So I'm just going to do some rows of pattern. I'm going to do some little crosses here. Give it a little red circle under the eye, like a cheek. I'm going to give it a beak. I think I used yellow for this bit, or an orange. And like I say, feel free to either, you can do what I'm doing, or you can add your own pattern, or do different colours. I just recommend you use a dark, quite a vibrant, bright colour for the background. You can see the paints, like the orange I'm using now for the beak. That's really comes out really lightly. And we can still build up the layers, but if that was in the background, the colour around the bird, even with a few layers, it wouldn't be that prominent, it wouldn't show that much. Cool. Might give it a wing, I think. Some blue. Do some different brush strokes to add some marks and textures. I know you're going to be watching at home. I don't want to spend too long on this, because it might not be that interesting for you to watch, especially if you're adding your own pattern in. So I'll try and be quick. I just want to give you some ideas for what you could do with mine. Like I say, I recommend you do for your first picture, do the bird shape like I have, because it's a nice simple one, it's a nice simplistic one, and then you can decorate it how you wish. And I've got my pencil here. I think I'm going to do a little bit with the pencil. Then we get a nice contrast between the pencil line and the watercolour paints as well. Just going to do some little vertical lines down. Some red circles. I'm going to go over the beak again to make it a bit brighter. Let's build up the layers of colour. Draw some little crosses on. And like I say, you could just carry on. Do some swirls. Just fill up the bird inside, or the shape. So, like I say, we want to keep it white, but just filling it up with pattern. And then, like I say, the negative space around it, which would normally be left white so the eye isn't drawn there, we're making that quite a dark colour, or a vibrant colour, so that it stands out. And now my red's dry, I can go over it with another layer of paint, so it really, really stands out. And don't be afraid to spend your time, like I say, layering up your watercolours so you get nice, nice contrasts. Get right up to the edges. Like I say, when you're putting the initial shape down, it's quite interesting with this to be spontaneous, so to start painting the background first and allowing a shape to evolve quite organically, like a bird, like this, so quite naturally, just let it form. If you find that really difficult though, when you'd rather draw it out in pencil first or in paint and then paint around the edges, that's fine too. I just recommend, like I say, starting by painting the background and working inwards. There we go, and then I'd go on and finish the whole bird like that. And as we've got a bit of time, I just want to show you how you could then change that. So we've got the, like I say, the negative space surrounding the picture is covered with paint, and the positive space is here, the white one. We've added a bit of pattern onto that. So we could reverse it now, and I could have a red bird and do the pattern in the background. So I'm going to paint the bird again. So I'm just doing like a bead shape, very, very simple shape here. And I'm just going to paint it red. So I've just drawn the outline for this one. I'm going to paint it red, or whatever colour you've used for the background of your other picture. paint it red, and I'm going to actually keep this red with no detail on and just do some patterns in the background. I'm going to repeat the patterns that I've done on here and fill up the space surrounding the picture. And like I said, I've worked quite quickly. Normally when I'm doing a piece like this I can spend several hours adding the detail on. So like I say, it would be lovely if you copied me and then came up with a few of your own. I understand you might not have time, or you might get a little bit tired after you've done this. If you want to make the patterns a bit more simplistic, that's fine. A bit simpler, so just maybe some geometric shapes, like some squares or circles. The same way as before, we can just build up the red from the bird. Start with the painting, the picture where you paint the negative space first, then do this one afterwards if there's time. There we go. So just got the very basic shape of a bird there. And now I'm going to fill out some of the pattern that I've got here in the background of my bird. So we're reversing it now. Circles across the top. We're going to leave the background white. We're just going to put some patterns on. And the idea here is that, like I say, again, the area where your eye would go to first, the bird, or like I say, when you're looking at a picture, the background tends to be not as prominent. Artists will tend to keep generally speaking, tend to keep the backgrounds more minimalistic with less going on. So your eye is drawn to the main picture, called the foreground image. Whereas now, we're really making a spectacle of the background. And yeah, you just fill up the whole of the background. There we go, just fill up the background with the shape, then the silhouette of the bird just stays red, like that. And again, we filled up the negative space from behind, and we've created two contrasting pieces. So we've reversed the pattern and the space, and the foreground image, which is the main image, and the background image there. So the eye is taken to the background image. And there's just one thing I want to show you quickly that you can do if you want a challenge. Do not feel that you have to do this. It's only if you've got time and it's something that you fancy doing, because you want it to be a bit more challenging, because you've already mastered that. What you can do is take another sheet of paper and fold it in half. And you could do this with your bird, or it could be of anything you want. It could be something new this time. There we go, so just fold it in half so the corners meet. So we've got two equal half sides of our paper. What I'm going to do with my pen, I'm going to paint a bird. I might do a different bird this time, I think. I'm just making one up off my head. Like I say, It doesn't have to be a bird. For this, it does not have to be what I'm doing. You can make something up yourself. So I'm going to do a bird. It's looking back on itself. So there's the head. It's a bit like a dinosaur's head, actually. And then a bit like a peacock. We're going to go into this huge tail, like this, onto the other side. And what we're going to do is, what I'm going to do, as we did before with our picture, we're going to reverse the image for the two sides. So there we go, there's my bird's beak. So for one side of the bird, I'm going to paint the, so if I leave the eye white, I can paint the bird red. Just keep it red, plain red, or like I say, whatever colour you want to do. Just to get a nice, a very dark one that will stand out, like a black or a red. Try and stay away from oranges and yellows for your main colours, just because of what we're doing. As it's quite light, as yellows or pinks, for example, are quite light, they tend to merge into the background. There we go. So if I just colour in the bird, half the bird in red. Then when it dries, you can put another layer of red on top. And now I'm going to leave the tail white, and I'm just going to paint around it. Like I said, this is just an extension for if you've already followed me and done some pictures of your own, and you want to try something a bit more challenging. I can go right up to the line. Keeping my brush nice and wet as I get more paint. Getting all of the white space filled up. With this one, like I said, I've painted it on first, the outline. This would be a bit complex just to paint the negative space, to paint the background in first, so it's fine to draw it out with this one. Because I'm just quite aware of time, so I'm working quite quickly. Feel free to pause me and and take your time with this. There we go. So we've got the half the bird here, the neck in red, and then that's reversed on this side. So our negative space, which is our background, is now a positive space, which is filled in with the colour, because that's the prominent area that our eyes go to. And if you want, as we've done before, we can reverse it. So do some patterning on the tail, and then repeat the patterning on this side, but still leave the bird red there. Or just leave it so it's nice and simple like this, and we've got the contrast. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me, guys. So like I say, if you could just follow me and create a simple bird like this with your watercolours. You can fill out my pattern, fill up the whole thing, or make up your own pattern, or fill it with whatever you'd like. I think the bird's just a good one to start with. It's a nice simple shape. And then if you've got time, you can reverse it. So just have a silhouette of the bird with whatever colour you've done the background in. Fill the bird in with that colour, and then the background, the negative space, will be filled with the pattern that was on the bird. And then if you do that, they don't always take that long to do. You can find some of your own objects to use. You might want something a bit more challenging, like a teddy bear, or you could do the silhouette of a person, maybe just put the face on. Leave the rest of them as just the silhouette without detail on, if you want. Or if you want something a bit simpler, it could just be a piece of fruit, like an apple or an orange. And then if you want an extra challenge, you can fold your page in half, And whatever you draw, you can alternate it on both sides. So one side's got the white background and the solid colour for half of the shape, and then it's reversed on the other side. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed that anyway, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on Zoom a little bit later. Take care, guys. See you soon.